Hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day and welcome to a new video. Today, I would like to talk about the case for Dixie Kong to get into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Back in the 90s, there wasn't a whole lot of female lead characters in video games. There were plenty of females in ensemble casts in games, like fighting games for example, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Dead or Alive, Soul Calibur. They had plenty of female fighters and whatnot. But when it comes to actual adventure games and platforming games, the amount of characters that were in there that were female were pretty few and far between in terms of lead roles. There were of course exceptions, but for the most part, not a lot. But when we do talk about female leads in video games, especially in the 90s, there's one character that really goes under the radar for a lot of people, and that's Dixie Kong. Dixie is one of the OG femme fatales from the early 90s, and she is absolutely the true third member of the DK crew. Dixie Kong's history with Super Smash Bros. Is a very interesting one. In fact, out of all the characters that I've talked about in this series, Dixie Kong was actually the closest to actually getting into Super Smash Bros. Generally, and we know this, we have evidence. So it makes it even worse when you consider the fact that she was practically in the game at one point, and then removed, and then never showed up again. But I don't want to get too far into that just yet. First, let's talk about who Dixie is in general. Dixie Kong debuted in Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Conquest on the SNES in 1995. After the colossal success that the first Donkey Kong Country was, it was only fitting that Rare would release a sequel, and not too far along after the first. And in an absolute showing of big dick energy.
Whoa, whoops, oh! I dropped my monster condom that I used for my Magnum Dong.
Rare decided to remove the title character from their game and replace him with the partner character from the previous game, Diddy, and now his newly created girlfriend, Dixie Kong. Normally, removing your lead character that's name is in the actual title would probably be one of the worst moves you could ever make. Imagine if they made Super Mario Bros. Minus Mario. But, as it turns out, Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Conquest is in every way, shape, and form better to Donkey Kong Country 1. And this isn't an opinion, this is a fact. This is a simple fact. If you talk to most Donkey Kong fans, they will agree that Donkey Kong Country 2 is the superior game. But I don't want to get into a whole spiel about that, because trust me.
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
But let's just say, we'll leave it at the fact that it's a much better game. And what a game for Dixie Kong to debut in, because it was absolutely fantastic. But it wasn't over for Dixie there. Dixie Kong would continue to star in her own game as Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. Dixie would take on the lead role alongside of her cousin, Kiddy Kong. So, right away, this character came into the Donkey Kong Country series, and then, in the third and final installment of the SNES Country games, takes over as the complete lead character, which is fantastic. Dixie Kong is by far one of the most important Kongs to the Donkey Kong series. So it should come as a surprise to absolutely nobody that Dixie has garnered a humongous fan base over the years that have been waiting patiently and wanting to see her get into Super Smash Bros. If you had told me that the Super Smash Bros. Series would go 5 installments and I still wouldn't see one of the most important Donkey Kong characters put into the game, I wouldn't believe you. I would actually think that you were a total liar, because there's no way that they would skip over one of the most important Donkey Kong Country characters ever. But I also wouldn't think that they would also skip over the main antagonist of the Donkey Kong Country series either. And as it turns out, we had to vote on a f***ing ballot just to get him into the game. But it's certainly no understatement to say how important Dixie is to the general Donkey Kong Country game series. Dixie has appeared in quite a few Donkey Kong games over the years, besides the original trilogy, where of course she was in the second and third installment. She did not appear in Donkey Kong 64 and was replaced with her sister Tiny Kong. However, she would show up again later in the King of Swing and Jungle Climber series. She would become a racer in the Diddy Kong Racing remake on the DS. She would be in Donkey Kong Barrel Blast, would take a small hiatus in the mainline series as she did not appear in Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii. However, she would make her big debut in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which was huge for Dixie Kong, and was a wonderful return to the series that, in truth, sorely missed her. So you're probably wondering why, if she's so important to the Donkey Kong Country series, has she yet to show up in Super Smash Bros.? And to be honest, that's one hell of a good question. I also wonder why it's taken so long for her to get into Super Smash Bros. Now, as I had mentioned earlier, Dixie Kong does have a really strange history with Super Smash Bros. Years ago, the data for Smash Bros. Brawl was data mined, and people found 7 characters in the code. One of the characters discovered was Dixie Kong. Allegedly, she was originally planned to be a partner character to Diddy Kong. Diddy debuted in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and I suppose the original plan Sakurai had in place was to make Diddy and Dixie a duo character, sort of like Ice Climbers, and it would harken back to Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Conquest, which was Dixie's debut game. But for whatever reason, this idea was scrapped, and Dixie Kong generally was scrapped. Diddy Kong would show up in Brawl all by himself, and Dixie Kong would never show up ever again. Obviously, she would have trophies appear in the Smash series, but we would never get a playable Dixie Kong. And it's so strange, because clearly Sakurai had an intention of putting her into the game, but he would never revisit the character ever again, which is a real shame, because again, Dixie is a major character to her franchise. And the Donkey Kong series has a real history of getting slighted in Super Smash Bros. Donkey Kong content in the Smash series is usually pretty shallow generally, and it really wasn't until Ultimate that we had really received what I felt was a deserving amount of material for the Donkey Kong Country series. Smash 64 withstanding, being the first game and obviously having limited characters and a limited roster, when Melee came along, which was a much bigger Smash, it only seemed right that Donkey Kong should receive Diddy or Dixie or any of those characters, but of course it was looked over. Now obviously we did get Diddy in Brawl, which was nice, but then when Smash for Wii U and 3DS came around, a lot of us fans felt that we were going to see more Donkey Kong stuff, and Donkey Kong received absolutely nothing. He got no new characters, barely any good music for his stages, and really it was really dry of Donkey Kong content. The only thing we really had to hang on to was the fact that Kremlings were added to Smash Run, and that was pretty much about it. So fans weren't too happy with the lack of Donkey Kong Country content in Smash for Wii U and 3DS, but in Sakurai's defense, he did more than make up for it with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, where we got some fantastic remixes and of course, King K. Rool. But as I mentioned before, we got him because we voted him in through the ballot. Had it not been for the Smash Bros. Ballot, I'm relatively confident that Donkey Kong would probably get looked over yet again. Dixie Kong has the unfortunate privilege of being part of a series that constantly gets looked over, and that fans have to work extra hard to get another character into the game from. And this is all despite the fact that she was so close to getting into a Smash game. But it's certainly not all doom and gloom for Dixie Kong. Every day her fan base grows bigger and bigger, and she's certainly one of the top Nintendo characters that a lot of people want to see get into Smash. Not only would Dixie Kong's entry into Super Smash Bros. Really make the Donkey Kong Country side of the roster feel complete, as we would have who I consider the 3 main protagonists of the series, and of course the main antagonist, King K. Rool. After that, I would say Donkey Kong really wouldn't need much more content. I would like to see Cranky and Funky Kong, but Dixie would really make the Donkey Kong side of the roster feel rounded out. And she's the perfect addition. She's really the most important addition. The good news for Dixie Kong is that there are a few things going in her favor. Sakurai and Nintendo certainly had seen the support for Dixie, as she did get some decent acknowledgement in Ultimate. She did get a Mii hat, which is crappy, but at the same time, not crappy, because in Smash for Wii U and 3DS, Dixie Kong received pretty much nothing. But at least this time, she actually has a costume piece dedicated to her. So clearly that was put in there as at least acknowledgement that Dixie Kong is very much wanted. Though King K. Rool got picked over her because he had more votes on the ballot, I'm sure, there's no doubt in my mind that Sakurai and Nintendo saw a large amount of requests and votes for Dixie as well. So they're very well aware that Dixie Kong is, in fact, quite popular amongst the community, and surely she's well wanted. Another thing Dixie has going in her favor, of course, is that she's a first-party Nintendo character. And so far, our second pass has started with a first-party Nintendo character, being Min Min. So, maybe we'll see more first-party Nintendo characters show up in this pass, and since Dixie Kong is certainly one of the most popular ones, it would certainly make a lot of sense for her to show up in Pass 2. And while you used to be able to make the argument that characters from a series that already exist in Smash probably wouldn't see an entry into DLC, well, Byleth broke that rule. So clearly, there's plenty of room for Dixie Kong to also come in as well. Not to mention the fact that Tropical Freeze has very little content in Smash Ultimate as it is, so Dixie could bring with her a Tropical Freeze stage as well as a plethora of music from Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. So there's plenty there to justify a DLC pack. There's also, of course, another thing going in her favor, and that's that Dixie would be relatively easy to do. You could use Diddy Kong as a base, of course, not saying she would be an echo, but Diddy could still be used as sort of a base for Dixie to be built off of. And there is something strange that happened with Diddy Kong that a lot of people thought may have been a justification that Dixie could come as an echo fighter for Diddy, and that was the fact that Diddy's old jab animation used to go into a tail whip, which was suddenly removed from Ultimate. A lot of people thought maybe they did that because Dixie doesn't have a tail, so perhaps that was this funny way of Nintendo getting ready to make a Dixie Echo. Now obviously that never happened because we don't have a Dixie Echo, but you never know. It's possible that Diddy could still very well be used as a base, and we could still very well see Dixie Kong show up in Pass 2. It's certainly not impossible. And of course the biggest thing in Dixie Kong's favor is, yet again, Min Min. Min Min, of course, getting into Smash breaks the fan rule of spirits deconfirming characters, and Dixie already does have spirits in the game. Well, now you can't argue that anymore, so a lot of spirits are back on the table, and Dixie Kong is of course one of the biggest. She's still got a lot of requests, she's still heavily wanted, she represents one of the biggest Nintendo series out of them all, and she's one of the most important characters to her series. So really, Dixie has a lot going for her. The big question is, will Nintendo and Sakurai make room for her in this pass? I will admit that my optimism to see Dixie Kong show up in Pass 2 isn't that high, which is really bothersome because Dixie is one of my most wanted characters for Smash Ultimate. Obviously I wanted King K. Rool really bad and I wanted him the most, but Dixie Kong was right there with him, and I still really want to see her get into Smash DLC. She easily is near the top of my list, and I think she really deserves it. It's well overdue for her to show up already. But despite the fact that I really want her, I just don't feel that confident that we're going to see her. I just feel like she'll get overlooked. But I'm really hoping that that doesn't happen. I'm really hoping that Nintendo and Sakurai see the support and decide to throw Dixie in there and just get the Donkey Kong series complete. Make it feel complete. That's all I want. That's what a lot of Donkey Kong fans want. We just want to see Dixie Kong get in, give her her due, and finally give her her chance in the spotlight. Something else to note for Dixie Kong is that she did just recently get into Mario Kart Tour. So it's nice to see at least that Dixie Kong is on Nintendo's radar in some way, shape, or form. Like I said, Dixie Kong is one of my most wanted characters. She represents literally my favorite SNES game, if not my favorite game of all time. Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Conquest is my favorite game. I love it. I've beaten it a million times. I play it all the time. I own it on multiple platforms, and I just love it. And I just really love Dixie. She reminds me of a phenomenal game. And of course, the Donkey Kong series is my favorite Nintendo series. So, of course I want to see more characters from Donkey Kong get in. But how do you feel about the whole thing? Do you want to see Dixie Kong get in? Do you like Dixie Kong? Do you like the Donkey Kong series? Are you indifferent? Do you feel like Donkey Kong has more than enough characters in the game already, or do you feel like Donkey Kong got shorthanded? Let me know down in the comments. If you really like this video, like it, feel free to share it, and if you really like this video, feel free to subscribe. I put out gaming videos every single week. I try to talk about a number of different games on a number of different platforms. I'm really focusing on Smash because I love Smash, but I'm trying to get more videos out there of all different games and all different franchises. If you really like what I'm talking about here too, feel free to follow me on Twitter. I try to post on Twitter a few times a day, and most of the time it's just me bitching and complaining about things that I don't care for in current video games, or things that I think different video game companies are doing that's bogus, that I just like to complain about. So if you want to see me bitch and complain about more games, feel free to follow me on there. At the time of this video, I'm super close to 300 subscribers, and I'm really happy. I'm really excited. My channel is growing slowly, and I'm blown away. I love the support. I really do. Thank you so much, everybody who's watching and subscribing. I love it. Every subscriber is super special. I love you all. I'm trying to plan more for the future. I want to do more with this channel. If it comes to streaming, I want to do a Discord channel. I want to do all kinds of fun things. So I got a lot of stuff planned out for the future. So I hope you all stick around. Thank you so much for watching. Please be safe out there, and bye-bye.